Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Chasing the Impossible. This series was designed to be able to give you stories of other individuals that have accomplished impossible things in their life and be able to say, hey, we made it too. You can make it too, right? So I've got one of my mans here. This guy is a entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He's a producer of music. He's on YouTube and has different channels that he does great production work there as well. He's not just one facet, he's multifaceted. And we call him Henny Tha Bizness. Henny, you there, man?
I'm here. What's good, man?
What's good, man? What's good? Sure do appreciate you coming on and talking to my subscribers about Chasing the Impossible, man.
Yes, sir.
Give me a little bit about what you do. I kind of gave them an overview of all your specialties, but give me a little bit of what is Henny Tha Bizness all about.
Oh man, I am a music producer, Grammy Award winning, and been in this music industry for over 20 years.
20 years, man. Ain't number 25.
Yeah. I started out as a young boy.
Yeah, he was only 6 years old making music.
No, man. I guess I would say musician first, but I've always loved videography and. So, things from doing film, doing scores, doing YouTube. I've done quite a bit in the whole entertainment, sphere over the last, decade and some change. But
Sure.
A lot of it is just based off of, the passions that I've had and being able to have the time to create those crafts and mold them into something that's actually, very tangible. So, yeah, I've been doing it a while and I feel blessed, man. It's really great to be here.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, man, over here Chasing the Impossible, we want to encourage people to do what you're doing, follow their dream, follow their impossible. So
Yeah.
when did you clarify or really identify what your impossible was? And what is it? What is one of your impossible stories you can share with us?
I just knew that I think when I was 15, 16 years old, I knew that I wanted to be in music, right? And I didn't know exactly where it was. I was singing in the choir at my church. I was rapping at school. I was trying to make beats and play piano for girls at at lunchtime. Right?
It was always about the girls in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's
let's be real.
Gonna be about the girls. So from there, I just knew that music was a passion that I just could not get away from. But to clarify, it was when I went to Morehouse College here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
And
Shout to Morehouse.
Yeah, shout out to the house. Right on. But I just started to narrow it down and say, what is it that people? I don't know. It's one of those things. What is it that I constantly get great feedback from? And it wasn't necessarily always me singing or rapping. I was okay at that, but I wasn't putting as much time into that as much as I was. Because I was so interested in the technology and everything that you could do with music and making beats. And so I started to clarify the dream to becoming a music producer. And I just started researching what that meant and how to become one of the greatest, And so I've been on this journey now for 20 years since I was 18 years old to become one of the greatest. And I keep clarifying that dream, that goal, that legacy, because now that I know that I'm, I want to be one of the most technologically driven music producers, the most, one of the guys who are just beta testers, the ones who will try the new things to try to bring it back to the community. And so I've been doing this for a while, trying to be as great as possible, man. But it's a blessing. Yeah.
Nice. Well, so if your impossible was the music thing, what was the fuel? Or the reason why you chose that? Was it something that your parents did, or was it something you just felt like you were supposed to do? Or what was your? Because we tell people, if you clarify that you want to do this thing, you're gonna need some fuel to get there. You're gonna need some kind of reason because it's gonna get tough. You're gonna get, it's not gonna always work out. You're gonna need something deeper in you, some kind of fuel that's gonna keep you going. What happened with that with you?
I tell people that even when I speak to younger kids, younger cats, and they want to do so many things, right? They want to produce and they want to rap and they want to act, or they want to be in, all different types of different parts of their life. And I tell them it's all about being decisive, right? And I told myself that I had to make a decision based off of what it is I truly want to wake up and do every day. And it kept coming back to creating music, kept coming back. So, it was one of those things to where What is it that you wake up every day and wish that you could do, that even if you weren't getting paid $1, but you could do it the rest of your life? What is it, that thing that you would love to do? And I knew that it was music, and it always came back to creating music and then building, music that works around artists and movies and TV, whatever it is. For me, that's what it was that I had to really go deep inside and know that that's what it was that I wanted to do every day.
Got you. And once you figured out, okay, music is my thing, and my passion is this, so it's what I want to get up and do every day. That's my fuel. I want to make this work. Then you say, you know what? Okay, if this is it, this is my fuel, this is my dream, then I got to do the homework. I got to figure out how to make this work. And it's not going to be like 5 minutes. It's going to do some study, some homework. What was your homework like trying to make this music production thing happen?
I'll tell you, it's not, there's no secret sauce to success.
People think they just wake up and they just get a hit. Like
it's a constant thing of studying not only those who came before you and those that are around you at the present moment, but also understanding yourself and being self-aware. I knew what I liked about, certain music, certain things about music. And I went and back then there wasn't the blessing of Google where you could just type in, I want to do music like some artist, and how can I make music? And you'll probably find some results. Yeah. That is such a great tool now. And if people don't understand that research is the key to everything, do your research, understand what it is and what it takes, because it is a daily thing that you have to constantly go through. And so what I did was, when I was in school, I went and I was in my dorm room, and there's so many guys from so many different parts of the, from the U.S. and even from like the Virgin Islands. I'm at Morehouse, so it's like 3,000 black men all at one time. And everybody had their specific music. Right. And so regardless if you're from the West Coast, or if you're from the East Coast, or if you're from the South, everybody had like their specific music that they loved. And so I was intrigued by just seeing if I could borrow somebody's big booklet with all those CDs and all that and all that artwork. And I remember that, man. And just looking at the booklets and seeing what songs that I like, and then what producers were constantly producing that, And so even to this day, when I hear music and I'm like, ooh, I like that. Who produced that? And if I see it's somebody that I keep hearing, I'm like, wow, like they're doing the thing, or they're really being, on it with their craft. Sure. But when I did my research, I didn't only study the, like just the music part of it. I had to understand, what does it mean to be a music producer? What does it mean? Like, what does that even entail? Like, how do you even get paid? Yeah. Like, regardless of what you're trying to do, you got to think of it, one, as your dream, and then two, as a business. Yeah. Because if you don't think of both, you'll just end up having, like you said, a lofty dream that doesn't have any clarification. It doesn't have any roots. You're just sitting there just thinking that one day it's just gonna fall in your lap, and it's just gonna happen. And
one day in the by and by, which we know ain't gonna ever come.
No, at all, man. I just studied, and I tried to make music like those that I liked. I literally would sit there like trying to make a beat, like trying to make Timberland's beat that he did for Aaliyah, or trying to make Dr. Dre's beat that he was, or trying to, like, these are things that I was literally trying to say, like, if I could get anywhere close to what their stuff sounded like, maybe I could get closer. So I was also benchmarking what I was doing against what that was already successful, and very, very often coming up short and being very frustrated, knowing that you're going to bump and you're going to bruise and you're going to get, you're going to have to figure out this whole confidence thing of, am I ready, or am I good enough? But one of the biggest things, not to be long-winded, is to always keep a circle around you that can be honest with you. Yes. And the circle of your friends and your family and those acquaintances that might tell you, it sounds pretty good, or you really got something, or maybe you should keep going with that. Because if you don't, and you don't let anybody hear or see what you're doing, you'll end up thinking that, your stuff is just so great, or your stuff is just so horrible. And never get that feedback. So it was feedback, it was researching what it was, and understanding what the career path actually meant.
That's
So that
awesome.
was,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That was a big mouthful to teach them a little bit about the homework and what it is to be a producer. I think a lot of times I've heard from other successful people that when they're doing their research, doing their homework,
yeah,
they find a mentor that's done what they've done already. Like you said, you would do it by listening to other people's music and trying to emulate that sound. But what if you're a business person, then maybe you need to find a mentor that's done your style of business, figure out how
yes,
they've accomplished that. Go call them, go talk to them. Don't be afraid to
yes,
pick up the phone and say, hey, my name is Joe Schmo. I saw you on such and such. I'd love to understand, maybe be an apprentice or figure out how you do what you do. I'd like to have your job, do what you do there. Could you show me or direct me to someone that would help me do that? I mean, the old days, man, apprenticeships were what they did in the Bible. Think about it. You had a
right,
trade, and then you followed somebody who did that trade until you could do the trade
exactly,
like them. And that's how you became that thing. But somewhere
yes,
along the way, we missed that mentorship, apprenticeship kind of
oh yeah,
atmosphere. And that's a big key thing to people who are trying to be successful, especially in specific things. When you have a
right.
trade or specific that you kind of learn something, I think that's a missing one. So I definitely want to throw that in there. But you did it without speaking to the person, but you were mentored by certain producers by listening to their stuff and trying to emulate that vibe. So you did it already. You got your thing going on.
It was a long process. I mean, people are like, well, let me try this out for a year, try this out for 6 months. Let me
Yeah.
see if my dream could work. And I'm telling you,
No,
it's going to take years.
it's gonna take some
years.
time. Yeah.
When I say that I've been in the music industry for almost 20 years, or actually thinking of wanting to be in it for 20 years, realistically probably only being in it maybe 16, 17 years,
Right.
actually getting a check or getting paid from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only been 8 or 9 years since that success started to really happen.
Right.
So
Right.
you can think, like, it took 10 years to really figure out how to get there. Right?
People don't want to do the grind. They just want the instant microwave success. Put it in for 60 seconds.
And when it rises that fast, it falls even faster.
Talk to him, brother. Preach to him.
It's
Preach.
gravity. It's just gonna happen. So,
And you said something else too that I thought was cool. And I've been listening to a lot of success mentors, and they always say, you said, find a good circle of people that you talk to, and make sure they're not yes people. They're just gonna say, oh yeah, honey, that's great. Oh yeah, that's all. You don't want them. You want a solid circle of people that you can trust. That's going to give you good information. That's going to tell you the truth about something. You don't want that guy that's going to always yes you. I call them the fluffers. They're going to always fluff you. Oh, that was great, boo. I mean, that's cool to have them folk. But you need some honest people that can be like, yo, that was whack. What was you doing? What's that sound in the back? Get rid of that thing. Believe it or not, my wife is that person for me when I do music. And she's a musician in her own way. She plays the flute and a couple other things. But she's not like a musician like on a full-time thing, but she has a great ear, right?
Yeah,
so I'll make a track or something, get a production going. She'll come in and go, what's that little thing by the thing? I don't like that sound. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she'll pick it out, and I'll take it out, and she'll be dead on, man. I'm like, whoa! Or she'll tell me, I don't like that. And she's so real that she's one of my main people I talk to. And you got to have people, right?
You need those people in your life, and you'll realize that you hate when they tell you that, but at the same time, they're usually so, like, they're not coming from like a place of not wanting you to succeed.
Right.
They really
want,
like those that are close to you, they really want you to get better.
Right.
And those that say, just keep working at it, or you missed the mark there, or, but you still need people that are like, that they're gonna you need cheerleaders.
Yeah, you need your fluffers.
You need both.
Yeah,
right?
You do.
And so, you can have a whole team of people who just believe and believe and believe. Right. And you have a whole team of people that are real. Yeah. And it's like,
need them both.
Cool, but man, what you gonna do? Because those are the people who are gonna light the fire up under your butt and be like,
yes, sir.
Damn, how do I really get to where I want to go? And so you got to make some hard decisions. Yeah.
So, after you've identified what your possible is, you've got your fuel going, you've done your homework. Talk about sometimes you're going to have to fail. That's a part of success. People miss that whole side of success. That failure is a part of success. When was there a time that you failed and you realized, man, this helped me,
Oh man, there's so many times. Let's be honest. Like when I finished college, I moved to LA to start. I got signed to a guy who was working in movies.
Wow.
And
so you started off the gate with some success, though.
Well, it was random. I was working with artists. I wouldn't say artists. I was working with friends from back home. I was working with friends in my dorm, and we were creating songs. I created a compilation of those songs, and I played them at our family reunion.
Nice.
One of my cousin's husband's best friend was a
so and
movie
so by the
producer.
so and so by the so and so.
You see how it's close. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I sent my demo out
Right.
back then. Somebody hit me back, said your stuff is so incredible, whatever. Right. It was so close that he was starting a movie production company, but he also wanted a record label to go with it. Now he didn't necessarily know he knew film, but he didn't know music.
Gotcha.
And so I got there, and he told me, one of the things he told me said, I want you to sign a contract for a year that you will stay in LA, but I'm only going to pay for your expenses to be here for 6 months. That was the first thing I had to say. Okay, Dan. What am I going to do in those 6 months? Because I had a good job. And so by, that money ran out faster than 6 months happened.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me all at once.
Oh, he gave it to you all at once.
He gave it to me all at once. You're 21, 22 years old. You don't know how to budget. And so I had to learn how to bring people into my apartment and start recording to bring in extra money. By the time I was 25, I had a little bit of clientele, and I came back home from Christmas to LA to get back, start the new year, and I came back to a ransacked, vandalized, robbed apartment.
What?
That they took everything from me besides the first keyboard that my father bought me when I was 18 and some speakers. So I lost all the music, I lost all the ideas, I lost all the equipment, and right then I was thinking to myself, maybe God, this isn't what was meant for me. Maybe this isn't. You'll have those moments where you're just like, well, is this not what you meant to have for me? And thinking about it now from back then, God just said, I want to put you in a different direction. I want you to trust me even more, because this thing that you said you wanted to be great. So I'm going to test you, and I'm going to continuously test you to see if you really want that.
Wow.
People talk about paying dues, right?
Yeah.
I paid my dues. You're always going to be paying dues.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as you want something more, you got to refinance those dues. You got to keep paying those dues.
I like that, man. I like that. I'm going to use that later. Don't get me wrong. You're going to see it on the video. Refinance those dues you got to pay because you're doing something better.
I'm trying to tell you. It's so real because we get so frustrated. Like, well, I paid my dues. No, you haven't. Like, you said you wanted something, and you said, you wanted to be a producer, but you wanted to do this and do that. It's going to add more to it when you want more. So by the grace of God, my dad was able to loan me some money to get new equipment.
Wow.
But it was such a hardship because I couldn't trust anybody to come in my house anymore. So I lost that business, So I didn't know. I still was like, that was helping me, pay for the bills and stuff in LA is not cheap at all.
And you didn't have renter's insurance, right?
I did not. I did not have renter's insurance. And I think somebody tried to tell me about it, and I was like, I don't know if I can afford it. I'm young, and I'm just like, that's whatever. And so it was one of those tough moments that you had to really, think about what it is that you really want out of this thing.
Sure.
And so I had to create my everything back from scratch, my trust around the community. And it was huge for me because I was sitting there thinking, how am I going to get to this impossible dream?
Yeah.
And what happened was I sat, on a couch of a friend that I knew very, not very well, but he was actually from my hometown of Seattle. I'm from Seattle. And he was living in LA as well, being a DJ. And I sat there on his couch. I was humble, and I said, man, I just need some help. I know you're doing mixtapes. Maybe I can put some of my music with some of your mixtape artists. And that's how we started the production company, The Bizness. I said, hey, man, if I put my beats with your stuff, and he was a good hustler. He was a good grinding dude. Yeah. And I realized I needed help, but really I needed more faith back then. I needed more faith in God to say, he's going to lead me the way. But there's so many times where you're going to hit this hardship, and you're going to think that you're going to need so many different things that are externally, and really it's coming from within. It's coming from God.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, within the next that relationship that I had as a production team,
Mm-hmm.
we won awards, we had hits, but I saw something. God told me, I have something more for you. You said back then, way in that impossible dream when you're 16, 17 years old, that you wanted to be great.
Wow.
So I want more from you. And the greatness is not about getting what it is for you. It's about giving what you have to others. And so these last 5 years, when I said, I have a different calling in my life, and I broke up our partnership, and I was going in a different direction. God said, you know what? There's a lot more dues you need to pay.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to get back and jump. I couldn't go from a mountain to a mountain. I had to get back in the valley. And so it was very hard times for me, knowing that I had to really figure out how to build relationships, because I was just making music and he was grinding. I had to figure out how to do small talk. My dad said, you need to perfect your elevator pitch. I was like, I don't know how to do that, Dad.
Everything is sales, whether you realize it or not.
Exactly.
Everything is sales. I want to throw that in there. I know you guys are going, what? You'll get that in a later video, but trust me.
Everything. You're right. I mean, so there were so many points of my career, even in these last 20 years, that have been bumps, bruises, situations to where you had a great experience or a great moment, but you didn't maybe get paid for it. You didn't get the credit for it. You got, something stolen from you, or even, somebody tried to say that it was theirs instead of yours. You can have all these situations to where you're going to have to fight.
Yes.
You're going to have to fight it. You're going to have to fight for what you want. And so there's been many moments that's happened, but what stayed true was my belief that it could happen.
There it is.
And that's what's always started from the jump. When I was a young kid, I said, I know it's going to happen. And if I could say one thing to all those who might be watching, it's making the decision to tell yourself that it's possible. That's really where it started. And so everything about my career was saying that it was possible. When people told me that I was crazy in 2015, that I shut my complete studio down with all the bells and whistles that I had in my studio and said, I'm just going to create with an iPad. They thought I was crazy. Everybody was like, you couldn't do it.
Right.
There's no way to be professional that way. And now I'm sitting there doing it and showing thousands of people how to do it every week, So it's a blessing to know that there's pitfalls, there's shortcomings, but at the end of the day, you can get it when you believe and you work hard, and you know that when you have a shortcoming or something that's a hardship in your life, that means you're getting closer.
Yeah, see that
you're getting closer.
That's the key when you're going through some things, to know that it's part of the process. Right. And I think that what people don't understand about success or about reaching your impossible is that there is a process to it. There's, like you said, once you decided that you were going to do that, and that's the first key, clarify and decide that you believe it's possible. Once you settle that, you're going to get there, but you got to settle that in your mind. And once it's settled, then you start to reach out, you do your homework, you connect, you start to dig in a little bit, and you're going to fall sometime, but you still settled it. You're never going to leave that. And the whole thing becomes, trust that process, trust what you go through, and don't give up, right? I mean, I'm sure you've had some moments where you had to look at the process and go, wow, is this what I really wanted to do? But this process has taken me this far, and I know that if I don't give up, I will hit this marker, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you can apply that formula to any level of success in your life. It's something you're trying to accomplish. Know that you're going to have to identify what it is. You have to believe that it's so. You're going to have to find the fuel to do it. You're going to have to do the homework to get it right. You're going to have to realize that you are going to fall sometimes. But if you trust that entire process and don't give up, you will get to the end, right?
I'm telling you. I mean, you said all that right there. And all I was thinking about was people and their relationships and love and marriage and all the things that, like me and my wife just celebrated 11 years marriage last week.
Man, congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
we just celebrated 7 last week, so what's up with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, she's been my rock since she was actually the main reason that I moved to LA, because I knew that it was something about her that was going to change my life.
Yes, sir.
But, you say that, all the things of this deciding, I decided that that was the one for me,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And then
yes, sir.
I clarified it, and I did my research, and I continued on the process. And I mean, there's bumps and bruises in any relationship, but you know that it's real, and you know that it's possible to be there and be together, and to have a relationship that works forever. And so, like you said, it can apply to anything in your life. So it's just a process of understanding all these steps, like you're saying, to get to that dream. So,
it is. And I'm glad that you were able to share just a snippet of what you went through, because you've been in the game for 20-something years now.
Yeah.
And you just sharing a little bit, it only gives them a glimpse of what's possible. But everybody's got their own version of that. They're going to figure out, okay, well, once I identify that I believe this, then I'm going to have to figure out what's going to keep me going when it gets tough. What's going to be the thing inside me that drives me? What's going to be the thing that keeps me, going forward when everybody else is pulling me backwards? When the naysayers are saying, no, you can't do it, you got to have something deep inside his head.
You got it. And, people say, when we talked earlier about keeping a circle, right? And keeping a circle of those that, you can depend on and trust on. But some of the people that might give feedback still might have negative energy within them that seeks into you. So always balance that. So what I found to be true, even with, for me within the last few months and a couple of years, is to, it doesn't always have to be a person that right? Like, say, for instance, with your YouTube channel, like, people should always stick, positivity in their ears on a daily basis.
Right.
Even if they don't know that person, even if they don't, listen to those who have done well, listen to those who have strived for greatness and reached it. Listen to these things, put that in your mind on a daily basis. Wake up and get that motivation, get that, get those success stories in your head, and constantly put that in your mind state, so that that, man, people time and time again had to go through the same thing that I was trying to do, and that'll only motivate you every day. Because if you just think about what's going on in your circle, and nobody has the dream that you have, and nobody knows the struggles that you're dealing with inside of, is this going to work? Am I going to be able to give up?
Right.
Find those out there that you might not know who are trying to get that impossible dream, and they actually received it, and listen to their stories and learn from those who did it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome, man. But you know what? As always, it's great to talk to you, man. You inspire me when I see you on the YouTube doing your thing, and the tracks that you produce. And if for number one, subscribers out there that are watching, what social channels do you want them to contact you on to say hey, or to watch your channels? What do you want them to see?
Everything of mine is Henny Tha Bizness. That's HENNYTHA. BIZNESS. I didn't spell it like the business, but if you Google it, everything will come up.
Okay, I'll put your links on the bottom of the video.
I appreciate that. Yeah, everything on my social media platform: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Even my website is Henny Tha Bizness. So you'll be able to find it.
Okay, so you got yourself out there, and you can find one digitally somewhere out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it all probably direct you right back to YouTube to show you what I got going on.
And are there any projects or anything you want people to know about to get ready for it, to give them just support on?
Oh man,
I want subscribers to support what you're doing. Is something that we can be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few things that are in the works,
but you can't tell me right now.
Speak on. But the main thing is, I'm my goal, for the last year and a half, is to be able to inspire people through, the technology that I love, and through showing people a different way to getting to, your success. So that's the things that I do every week on my YouTube channel as well. Okay. And all I'm trying to do is build trust. People talk about building a brand and, taking your brand to higher heights. And it really just starts with people trusting that you're going to give them the right information. People trusting that you're going to give them, good entertainment or whatever it is
quality
that you
content
want to do. Yeah. So, every week I'm just trying to stay consistent, staying persistent and resilient. Yeah, man. Where I'm at with it, bro.
Well, it sounds like you're doing it right. And again, we thank you for taking the time. You are a great entrepreneur because you've got a business outside of music where you do your YouTube videos and your generating revenue there. You have your music production, of course, as well.
Yeah.
You're teaching. You're doing so many other things. I just want to remind people that it's not always just one thing. You got to be able to spider out your gifts. You got to be multiple income streams to be able to do things really well.
There you go.
And be able to branch out your gifts. Make sure you can see them in different ways and not be so pigeonholed as just, I'm just a producer. Well, what else can you do?
Right.
These days, you better be a jack of all trades, right?
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, man, I appreciate you stopping by, man. We will see you next time, I'm sure. God bless, man. Thanks, Henny Tha Bizness, for coming by and seeing Chasing the Impossible.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one. We'll see you next time. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.